Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to FishOfHex. My name is Travis. Today we're going to be doing one of my favorite types of videos, and that is the rambling. Now, as you guys know, I do usually have a list of things I want to talk about, and I tend to go off on different tangents or rants and shit, and that's pretty much what makes these videos kind of fun. So I do appreciate the support on the last one, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and first start with the easy stuff here on the website. As I mentioned before, I went ahead and did some updates on the site, basically waiting for my billing cycle to go through on Shopify because there's a specific app I like to use that costs me about 30 bucks to make these major adjustments to the website. And last time I went to do this, I actually did it the day before it was going to renew, and I ended up getting double charged. So I was like, oh, well, that sucks. So I just wanted to make sure it billed before I went ahead and got the app again. So the first thing I did is I came over here to the About page. I did change the background picture, and I also changed the font around a little bit just to make it so it wasn't so, because I had capitals on the beginning of each letter. At first it looked okay, and then I started looking at it. I was like, oh man, I definitely don't like it. And then you guys gave me some feedback and said it didn't look good. So I changed that, and I also went ahead and changed the Reef Tank for Veteran requirements, all that stuff, and put it on the About Us page because it used to be on the t-shirt page. I don't really know why I had that, but it was. Next thing I did is I went ahead and changed the reviews around. Before it was all spread out, like there was a ton of them here. Now it goes through and it should automatically scroll through the reviews depending on if you're using a mobile or you're on a desktop. But either way, it allows you to go through and you can see the reviews, and it just keeps them all compact and stuff like that. And of course you can come down here and go over to the Facebook and all sorts of stuff. So there we go. It's scrolling through and you can see the reviews. So it's pretty cool that I have that. And when you're on mobile, it's a pretty compact and looks pretty decent, at least to me. The next thing I did is I came over here to My Tanks, of course, changed the top picture here. I went ahead and updated some information here on the 300. I retired the planted tank, retired the old imported frag system. Of course, the anemone tank and the 125 are all retired already. And just added some pictures and just added a little bit more information for that. So when you guys check it out, you can come here and click on the playlist. You can come over and click on the starter video, and you guys can see how the tanks kind of started. So that's done. I'm glad I got that out of the way. It's definitely been on the list of things. Now, the next thing I did that probably, actually, you know something? I will talk about this after because I'm probably going to go off on a tangent. The next thing that I ended up doing is I updated the t-shirt page here and set it up so that there's more t-shirts that you can see, and when you click on them, it brings you automatically over to my Shopify site, and you can just simply buy the shirt through that. Now, I will be adding more of them. I probably won't be adding them to this page just because it does fit in there pretty good, but I will be adding more of them to the Teespring store so you guys can get different things, and definitely appreciate all the support that you guys do when you're buying t-shirts. That stuff is you know, it's paying for gas to get to the veterans build coming up Sunday. We had to delay it like several months, and then the last couple weeks have been really wanting to get it, but I ended up getting really sick. My kids got sick. Mike got a new job, so there's just schedules and schedules and schedules. But we have it set for this Sunday, and you know, the trailer's already ready to go. So there's no adjusting it at this point. We're going to Ohio. It's definitely a long trip too. I think we're going to be doing 5 or 6 hours out. And then building the tank on a Sunday throughout the day, and then we're going to go ahead and drive back because we got school and stuff to do in the morning on Monday. So we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the major adjustments that I made to the website. Now, there is something that I did do. I updated the shipping, the prices for 2 zones. The blue zone here, I went up $5, and then the red zone went up $5. Now, this is funny, I ended up posting this on the community forum for YouTube, and man, people lost their shit because I decided to increase the price of 2 zones by $5. And the reason behind doing that was this year alone, paying the difference. So to make this easier for you guys to understand, so if you guys were paying $15 for shipping and you lived in the blue zone here, usually it takes $22 to $25 to actually ship it overnight for 10:30 a.m. Now, you can ship ground for about $15, but I usually only do that during the summertime because it does still get there next day, but it might not be at 10:30. It might be a little bit later, like noon or something like that, but it still does get there the next day. Now, in the wintertime, I don't play that game. I make sure that it's set for 10:30, and it always costs me an extra $10 or so for shipping. And basically, over the last year, paying that difference, so if you paid $14.99 and I end up paying $25, so that difference added up to about $4,000 that I lost in shipping over the last year. So yeah, $4,000 is nothing short of ridiculously unacceptable. That's the second time I use that word, unacceptable. I'll tell you right now, fun fact, my aunt used to yell at me when I was a kid and be like, that's unacceptable, and it's been buried in my brain ever since. So I haven't tried it on my kids yet, I don't think. No. But anyway, so $4,000 was lost in 1 year worth of covering that difference in shipping. And I mean, it's just not acceptable. I can't do it. I just, when you, what could I have done with $4,000? I could have bought all the lighting for the new setup for the grow out. I could have got new pumps for power heads and stuff that I just can't buy right now because we got blown out on Christmas and there's a bunch of stuff going on. So that $4,000 could have paid for a lot of things to upgrade here in the fish room. It could have made my life a lot easier. And to think that I lost it just covering a difference, being a nice guy. Now, if you guys are not familiar, my prices on the website here are a lot lower than 99% of the sites on the internet here. It just the prices are low because I grow it in-house. There's not a ton of overhead anymore, so I can get away with lowering the prices. I mean, you get it, for example, this $500 F-Flow. That stuff's selling for like $75, $85 a frag on other sites, and you got it here for 40 bucks. So it's still a 1-inch frag. I mean, you can see it says 1-inch frag plug there. But the thing is that my prices are already really low, so if I'm getting killed on shipping, then it just doesn't make any sense. It literally hurts my head to even think about the fact that I'm already have low prices and then I'm getting bent over on shipping. So that's why I made the adjustment, and a lot of people were pissed off, and I will admit I did feed into it. I tend to not engage with trolls or people who talk shit and stuff like that, just because that's what they're looking for. They're looking to have that reaction, and 99% of the time I don't bother with it, because most people who hate you, most people who talk shit are just keyboard ninjas that have nothing better to do and are extremely jealous of your success. And that's just something that it's just kind of been a running theme for people like that. So unfortunately, I had the day off on Sunday. Didn't really have anything else to do but to fuck with people. So that's exactly what I did. So I engaged into it and had a great time. For any of you guys that are friends with me on Facebook, I have a personal account that is strictly only there just to have my business account. I can't have my business account without having that one. And to give you an idea, I mean, on Facebook, I fuck with people all the time. I mean, my gender on Facebook is a potato. So that gives you an idea of the shit that I do on there. And it's strictly just to mess with people. It is what it is. I have a really, I would say, a dark, I wouldn't say dark, but I have a weird personality and a sense of humor. And there's a lot of you guys out there who have the exact same personality, and we kind of go back and forth with memes and all sorts of shit on Facebook. So that's pretty much all I use it for. And yeah, not sure why I went off on that, but yeah. So the changes on the website are, they're all beneficial for me. The shipping is definitely one of the better things that I had to adjust. I needed it to do it, and it worked out well. It's working out well. I mean, still getting orders. People can't be that pissed off because I'm still getting orders every single day, so it's not that bad. And yeah, so I think that's about it for the website. Let's go to move on to something else. All right, so one more thing that I want to get out of the way for those of you who have been emailing me pretty consistently is the Coralline Algae. Yes, it's been out of stock for a while now. The reason for that is I just can't get into the 300 like I used to and get the algae out. There's a lot of growth in that tank, and the majority of the algae is kind of back behind some of these bigger colonies. So it's difficult to get back there and get the Coralline for you guys. But don't worry, it will come back in stock once it grows out in the 40-gallon, which is already kind of layered the bottom of the tank a little bit, and once it starts growing into those grow out tanks, we'll be able to get that back up on the website. So don't worry, we'll be back, and I'll let you guys know either on the YouTube community forums, or I'll post it in another rambling video that is back in stock. But either way, it will be back, and I do apologize for those of you who are looking for it. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to, I guess, we'll do some personal stuff, and then we'll talk about the 300 and the fish room and all that. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I ended up getting that stomach bug the day after Christmas, and I'm talking about the stomach bug where you wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and you shit and puke at the same time for about 7 hours. Yeah, that was me, and it was awful. I mean, it took me multiple days to recover from that. It was no fun. The last time I felt that bad, I ended up getting food poisoning in Afghanistan. Go figure, eating that shit. But I ended up getting food poisoning, and that was the last time I've ever kind of, gone both ends like that consistently. I'm sorry if some of you guys are getting grossed out, but it is what it is. So yeah, for those of you who got the stomach bug, because I ended up seeing it all over the place, people were bitching about it, and I'm glad I'm not the only one, but I am the only one in the house out of everybody that was having it that bad. So yeah, it was pretty bad for me, and hopefully you guys, you don't get it. And if you do, don't go anywhere, because you're just spreading that shit around, and you definitely don't want to mess your pants up while you're out. Okay, so on a more serious note, you guys were asking me about therapy and stuff like that when I mentioned it in a previous video. Now, for me, I don't really talk too much about this stuff, but I figured, hey, I'm not the only one in the world that deals with things, so I don't have a problem kind of opening up to a certain extent, at least. Now, for me, I go to the VA for therapy. I have this cognitive behavioral therapy doctor here in Pennsylvania. So I go there once per week. Try to at least once per week. It depends on sometimes it's really hard to just go there and deal with things. I will admit I've attempted this type of therapy a lot over the last 10 or 12 years or so. I've failed it multiple times. There's some things that we do that make life very difficult. So when you go to therapy, of course you deal with things, but when you come home, you have to deal with it. And when you close your eyes at night, you have to deal with things. And I will admit I've failed multiple times trying to get through it. But for this time, I kind of have no choice but to keep going, mainly because not only am I dealing with things from the deployment in my early life as a child and things like that, but I'm also starting to deal with a new thing as of about almost 3 years ago. It's health anxiety / hypochondria. That's what they usually call it. I guess they changed it to health anxiety so people don't get offended or some bullshit. But anyway, I've been dealing with that pretty badly. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. It's over the last couple of years, it's been pretty rough. So for example, this year I've been to the doctor for everything. It seems like it's pretty rough. And I have an ENT doctor coming up Monday for actually something that I need to address real quick. But I've been struggling with that on top of everything else with the deployment, again, with being a child, and I don't really have a choice but to get through it and to work through it, because if I don't, my life is going to collapse. It's to the point now that it's difficult. I don't really go outside. I don't really socialize with people. I don't really do things. I know there's a frag swap coming up in January, and you know, I'm trying to get myself to be able to go do that. It's difficult for me to do those types of things because I'm a homebody by trait. My mother was, and all sorts of stuff like that. But it's difficult to be around people, not only because I don't trust many people. You know, when I look at somebody, I always second guess their motivations and what they're out to do or get from me. So it's a struggle. And of course, you know, health anxiety or hypochondria is definitely something that you think about and overtakes your life. So if any of you guys are dealing with any of that stuff, feel free to let me know. I know that when I talked about it recently, a lot of people, when I talked about that sleep paralysis, there was a ton of people who said that they experienced that. And it's always good to know that you're not alone. So I'm gonna burp. Not even editing that shit out. Actually, I want to edit it out, but I know that I'm going to go through this process later and I'm going to forget to, so it is what it is. Yeah, so I went ahead and started that CBT, and it's been pretty good. I will admit it's a little rough, but you know, you don't really realize that a lot of things that happen when you were a child, really, like when you know, things that you don't remember, you know, you were too young to remember, those things really add up. And you kind of wonder why you do things as you get older. But believe me, man, there's just even stuff that happens in the womb can affect who you are today. So, you know, it's crazy. And it is something that is going to be good because, you know, I have 4 boys, and, you know, I got to make sure that I'm not dead, for one, that I'm here and able mind and body to provide food and shelter and stuff for them. And I want to make sure, the most important thing is I want to make sure when I grow up that I don't continue the chain of bullshit. Like my whole side of the family, my mom's side of the family have mental illness and depression and all sorts of stuff, and my dad's side of the family has pretty much the same thing. So you know, 2 shitheads come together, you don't expect a diamond to be made. You know, you're gonna freaking grow a shithead, and that's what I am. And I tell you right now, when I was a teenager, I told myself that you know, everything was going to end with me. I was going to join the military, be the first one to do that. I was going to go to college. I was going to do things. I was going to make a better life. I wasn't going to be like everybody before me. And that is what has to happen now. I mean, I've been doing it successfully, but of course we all fall back into our own things. And I have to make things better. I have to be able to be a better person and to do things so my kids won't grow up fucked up like I was, and they don't have to experience the things that I experienced, and they don't have to feel that pain or resentment or just sadness that I felt growing up, because I don't want them to be, 30 years from now be in therapy like I am going, why didn't my dad fucking hug me? Or, why did he act the way he did? Trying to figure things out like I am. I don't want that to happen. I want to make sure that I give them the best possible way or method or whatever to be successful without having so much. I mean, of course, there's always gonna be something in life, but that's kind of my main motivation behind going to this therapy, because I don't really have a choice if I want things to be better for my kids. Okay, so enough of that stuff. Let's go to move on to the 300 gallon. Now, you guys know that I've been auto dosing nitrates and phosphates to the tank. I will admit, now that I'm trying to move on to a different topic, I'm kind of still stuck back in my previous one. Oh man, but I have been dosing nitrates and phosphates consistently over the last month or so, and I want to do an official video and how I got to a stable tank with nutrients. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comment section. I will make that video. But quick rundown on the whole situation. Basically, I'm using the dose or DOS or whatever the hell you want to pronounce it from Neptune. I am dosing out of gallon jugs of nitrates and phosphates, and right now I'm dosing 15 milliliters per day of NO3 and 4 milliliters per day of PO4, staying at about 5 ppm of NO3 and about 0.10 of PO4. So those are really good ranges for me. And I'll tell you, since I've been auto-dosing, the colors have gotten a ton better. The growth has started to pick up. You guys are saying every time you see the video of the tank, a new video, that the growth is just so much better than it was in the previous. And I'll tell you right now, I mean, I go in here and I frag this tank. I pulled out 100 frags from it yesterday. It doesn't even look like it. And I've said this 1,000 times. I could only imagine what this tank would look like if I just left it alone. It'd probably kill itself based on not trimming it. But I like to think that it'd be nice and full and beautiful, more than it is now. But yeah, so dosing nitrates and phosphates automatically 24 hours a day, 7 days a week has been proven success for me. I really, really, really like the results. And all I do is I just go ahead and I test, a couple times a week just to make sure it's stable and make any adjustments to either one of them if needed. Of course, I keep my feeding the same. I am dosing phytoplankton twice a week. You guys know that stuff's on the website. Here we go. So between dosing all the supplements and stuff that I talked about in previous videos with the refuel, the AcroPower, I'm trying to talk and look at what I got, and then phyto and iodine, and of course nitrates and phosphates, the tank is just, it's doing good. I really like it. And I like the fact that I can frag it and continue to grow my business with it. So that really, really, really makes me happy. Yeah, so nitrates and phosphates, if you guys want a full in-depth video on that, let me know. If not, then it just saves me time for making one. One thing you guys noticed in yesterday's video is that the middle right rock structure is moving in the flow. Yes, I was in there messing around, trying to remove corals, and I removed a coral that was holding the rock structure stable. That's fun. So, yeah, so it's rocking a little bit, but there's two 1-inch dowels in there that are holding it together. I did have a piece of the putty that was holding it together originally fall out. It just happens. There's a lot of flow in the tank. But what I did is actually move the rock structure back just a little bit so that the colonies are touching the glass. Just kind of keeps it stable, and eventually it will, it will stick itself to the glass. It'll be fine. It's no way, shape, or form going to fall over, knock on desk. But it is annoying watching it kind of move around in the flow. So I moved it back a little bit. You shouldn't see it anymore. But I am using video from yesterday, so you're probably going to see it in this one. Yeah, it is what it is. I tend to do a lot of video at one time and then just kind of reuse some of it on these rambling videos because it takes forever to just keep clean the glass and make tons of video. But yeah, so that's about it for the 300 that I can think. I am going to clean the sump soon because there's a ton of sponges and stuff in there. It looks disgusting, so I got to clean that. I ordered a second XR15 for the grow out system. That is working out pretty well. The acros are doing really well. I am going to be adding some supplemental lighting, some LED strips. Haven't decided exactly what kind I want to get, and I honestly don't want to spend a ton of money. It's just going to be like an actinic type of bulb LED strip of 4 foot. I'm going to add 2 of them each side of the 2 XR15s, and that should be more than enough light to take care of that tank. And yeah, I like the grow out. I'm already starting to frag some of the colonies that are growing in there, but it's just going to take time. And we got the first quarantine tank coming in here soon, or technically my second quarantine tank, the real quarantine tank for the 300 and grow out system. So we're going to be ordering some more acros. Pretty excited about that, and then get those started through quarantine, and we can start expanding our 205 colony grow out system. So I think that's it. I don't really have anything else on the list. I can't think of anything else I want to talk about. We are, what, geez, for 20 minutes in already. All right, well, I think that's it, man. I hope you guys have a good day. If anything, oh shit, yeah, anybody who ordered coral, orders are shipping today. I'll let you guys know via automatic email that their orders were not shipping out during the holiday. So if you order something, there's a 99% chance it's going to ship today. I'm going to try to get all of them done. I do have somebody help me ship, and that's why I'm doing this video right now. So hey, either way, guys, that's about it for the video. Hopefully you have a good day, and I will see you guys later. All right, peace.